The meeting room fell silent as Admiral Tark entered. His blue skin looked almost gray under the harsh lights. The 7 council members watched him with their various eyes, some blinking, some unmoving, all worried. "Tell us about the signal, again," said Elder Vox, the oldest member of the United Galactic Council. Admiral Tark touched the control panel. A hologram appeared, showing waves of energy moving across space. 3 days ago, our deep space station picked this up. It's moving toward populated systems. "Natural space event?" asked Counselor Zim, tapping her clawed fingers on the table. "No, the pattern is too regular, too perfect." Tark enlarged the image. "It's a ship, a very big ship." The room filled with whispers. Ships this large weren't built anymore. Not since the Great War 500 years ago. Dr. Lita stepped forward. She was small even for her kind, with skin that changed colors with her emotions. Right now she was pale yellow, the color of worry. "I've studied the signal pattern," she said. "It matches nothing in our records except—" She paused, looking at the elders. "Except what?" Elder Vox asked. "Except old stories. Very old stories about the Silent Ones." The room grew colder. Everyone knew the stories. The Silent Ones, humans, had appeared briefly in galactic history. They built quickly, explored widely, and then vanished. All that remained were ruins and warnings. Elder Vox stood up slowly. "Show the council what you found in the archives, Dr. Lita." Dr. Lita nodded and pressed her hand to the control panel. The hologram changed to show an ancient recording. The image was fuzzy, but they could make out a strange alien, a human, speaking to the camera. "This is Admiral James Cooper of Earth Fleet," said the human. His voice sounded strange through the translator. "If you are watching this, then our plan has failed. Earth is gone or silent, but the Harbinger is still out there. If you detect it, do not, I repeat, do not try to destroy it. You can't. Send the recall code instead. Call it home." The recording ended. The council members looked at each other. "That recording is 10,000 years old," said Dr. Lita, "made before humans disappeared." "And you believe this signal is their ship? This Harbinger?" asked Counselor Zim. "The energy signature matches the limited records we have of human technology," said Dr. Lita. "And the path it's taking, it's heading toward what was once human space." Admiral Tark stepped forward again. "We have a choice to make. We can try to destroy it, though the human warning suggests that would fail. We can ignore it and hope it passes by. Or," he looked at Dr. Lita, "or we can do what they asked." She finished. "Call it home." Elder Vox's eyes, all 3 of them, blinked slowly. "Do we have this recall code?" Dr. Lita nodded. "It was stored with the warning. A simple signal pattern, but very specific." The council members looked at each other, communicating in the silent way of species that had worked together for centuries. Finally, Elder Vox spoke. "Humans were dangerous, unpredictable, but they were also brilliant builders. If they created a ship that could survive 10,000 years," he paused, "we should learn more before we decide." "The ship will reach the outer colonies in 15 days, said Admiral Tark. "We don't have much time. Then we must act quickly." Elder Vox looked around the table. "Who votes to send the recall code?" One by one, the council members raised their hands, some reluctantly. Only Counselor Zim kept her clawed hand down. "I hope we don't wake something better left sleeping," she said quietly. 3 days later, Admiral Tark stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Stellar Guardian. Around him the crew worked at their stations. The ship was the pride of the fleet, the newest and most powerful defender of the United Galactic Council. But as Tark looked at the readings on the main screen, he wondered if even his mighty ship would be enough. "The human vessel is changing course," reported his second-in-command, Officer Brill. "It's responding to the recall code." "Show me," ordered Tark. The main screen switched to show the vast emptiness of space. At first, Tark saw nothing. Then, A small dot appeared, growing larger by the second. "Magnify," he ordered. The image zoomed in and gasps filled the bridge. The human ship was enormous, at least 3 times the size of the Stellar Guardian. Its dark hull absorbed light then reflected it. Strange patterns covered its surface, glowing faintly blue. "That's impossible," whispered Officer Brill. "No ship that size could still be functioning after 10,000 years. "Scan it," ordered Tark. Dr. Lyda, who had joined the mission at the Council's request, worked quickly at her station. "Energy readings are off the charts," she reported. "The ship is powered by something our sensors can't identify, and—" She paused, her skin turning white with shock. "Admiral, I'm detecting life signs." "What kind of life signs?" asked Tark, his heart's beating faster. "Humanoid. 5 distinct signatures in what appears to be the command center." Dr. Lita looked up, her eyes wide. "They're human, Admiral. Somehow they're still alive." Silence fell over the bridge. The Silent Ones were supposed to be extinct. Their homeworld had died in fire and ice long ago. Yet here was their ship, and within it, living humans. "They're hailing us," said the communications officer suddenly. Admiral Tark straightened his uniform. "On screen," he ordered. The image of the massive ship disappeared, replaced by the face of a human. It looked strange, flat-faced with small eyes and fur on top of its head. Its skin was pale, almost like it had never seen sunlight. "This is Captain Jack Morgan of the Earth vessel Harbinger," said the human. Its voice was deep and rough. "You activated our recall protocol. Identify yourselves." Tark stepped forward. "I am Admiral Tark of the United Galactic Council Fleet. We found your recall code in our archives, along with a warning to use it if we detected your ship." The human, Captain Morgan, narrowed his eyes. "Archives? What year is it?" "By the old Earth calendar, it would be the year 140587, replied Dr. Lita, stepping into view. The human's face showed no emotion, but something changed in its eyes. "That's not possible. We've only been on mission for 30 years. Dr. Lita's skin rippled with colors of surprise and concern. "Captain Morgan, according to our records, your ship left Earth 10,000 years ago, shortly after human civilization collapsed. As far as we know, your species has been extinct for millennia." Now, the human's face did change. Its eyes widened and its mouth opened slightly. For a moment it said nothing. Then it turned to speak to someone off-screen. When the human looked back, its face was hard again. "We need to verify this. Send us your historical records about Earth and humans, all of them." "And then?" asked Tark. "And then we talk," said Captain Morgan. "Because either you're lying or something went very wrong with our mission. Either way." The human leaned closer to the screen. "We need answers, and so do you." The transmission cut off. The bridge was silent again. "What do we do now, Admiral?" asked Officer Brill. Tark stared at the massive human ship on the screen. "We send them the records. We arrange a meeting and—" He turned to face his crew. "We prepare for anything, because the Silent Ones have returned, and history says that when humans appear, everything changes." Dr. Lita's skin turned a deep blue, the color of fear. "Admiral, there's something else you should know. I've been analyzing the ship's hull. There are marks on it, recent damage patterns." "What are you saying, Doctor?" "I'm saying that ship has been in battles, recent battles." She looked at the screen, where the massive human vessel loomed. "Whatever the Harbinger is, Admiral, it's not just a ship, it's a weapon, and it's been fighting something out there in the dark." Captain Jack Morgan stood alone in his quarters, staring at the data screens. His face was pale in the blue light. 10,000 years. The numbers didn't make sense, yet the proof was there in the historical records the aliens had sent. Earth was gone. Not destroyed. The planet still existed, but empty of human life. The great cities had crumbled to dust. The oceans had risen and fallen again. Forests covered what had once been countries. A knock at the door pulled him from these thoughts. "Enter," he said. The door slid open. Mira walked in, her dark hair pulled back tightly. As the ship's weapons specialist, She always looked ready for battle. The others are waiting in the command room, she said. Jack nodded, but didn't move. Is it true? Mira asked, her voice softer than usual. About Earth? Looks that way. Jack gestured at the screens. According to these records, climate change hit harder and faster than anyone predicted. The last human settlements died out 8,000 years ago. Mira's face hardened. So we're it? The 5 of us? Maybe. Adam is still checking the records. As if, hearing its name, the ship's AI spoke through the room speakers. Captain, I've completed my analysis. The alien records appear to be genuine. Jack sighed. Let's not keep the others waiting. In the command room, the remaining 3 crew members sat around the large table. Chief Engineer Tom was a big man with rough hands and a gentle voice. Xenobiologist Ellie had short blonde hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. Communications Officer Ray was the youngest, barely 30 when they'd entered cryo-sleep. 30 years ago, by their counting. 10,000 years ago, according to everyone else. Adam, show us what you found, Jack ordered as he and Mira took their seats. The center of the table lit up with a hologram showing a timeline. Earth's climate destabilized approximately 1 year after our departure, Adam explained. The process accelerated beyond the model's predictions. By the time the first effects were felt, it was too late for large-scale evacuation. They didn't follow us? Asked Ray. No. The Harbinger was the only ship of its kind. Earth's remaining resources went to survival, not space travel. Ellie leaned forward. What about the colonies? Mars? Europa? The Mars colony lasted another 1,000 years before failing. Europa's underwater city maintained contact with Earth the longest but eventually went silent as well. Tom hit the table with his fist. We were supposed to find them new homes. That was the whole point of this mission. Was it? Mira asked, quietly. Then why arm us with the most powerful weapons ever built? The room fell silent. It was the question they'd all had from the beginning. The Harbinger carried enough firepower to destroy small moons. Its hull was made of materials designed to withstand direct hits from energy weapons that hadn't even been invented when they left Earth. Captain, Adam spoke again. The alien fleet is requesting a meeting. Admiral Tark wishes to come aboard with a small team. Jack looked around at his crew, the last humans in the galaxy. Thoughts? He asked. We need information, said Ellie. And they seem to have it. They could be lying, Mira pointed out. This could all be a trick. To what end? Asked Tom. If they wanted to destroy us, why wake us up first? Ray, who had been quiet, finally spoke. The warning message. They said they found our recall code with a warning. A warning from who? Jack nodded. That's what I want to know too. Let's find out. He looked up at the ceiling, where Adam's sensors watched them. Tell Admiral Tark we'll meet. Standard security protocols, docking bay 3. Yes, Captain. Adam replied. Admiral Tark tried not to show his nervousness as the shuttle approached the massive human ship. Dr. Lita sat beside him, her skin shifting between yellow and green, curiosity mixed with caution. Remember, Tark said to his small team, these humans have been in cryosleep. For them, it's only been 30 years since they left Earth. They don't know they're the last of their kind. Unless they're lying, said Security Chief Krall, checking his scanner for the 5th time. The big reptilian officer didn't trust anything he couldn't understand, and the human ship defied understanding. Their shock seemed genuine, said Dr. Lita. And Adam, their ship AI, requested our complete historical archives. That's not something you ask for if you already know what happened. The shuttle slowed as it approached a large opening in the side of the Harbinger. Lights came on, guiding them into a vast docking bay. As they settled onto the deck, Tark saw 5 small figures waiting. They look so fragile, whispered Dr. Lita. Tark had to agree. The humans were smaller than most council, species with no natural armor or claws. Yet something about the way they stood, especially the female with the weapon at her hip, made him cautious. The shuttle door opened, and Tark led his team out. The air in the bay smelled clean but strange. Hints of chemicals his body didn't recognize. "Admiral Tark," said the human in front, stepping forward. "I'm Captain Jack Morgan. Welcome aboard the Harbinger." Tark placed his hand over his heart, the universal greeting of peace. "Thank you for receiving us, Captain." The humans led them through long corridors. The ship was enormous inside, with ceilings 3 times Tark's height. Everything was built to last, no decorations, only function. They entered what appeared to be a meeting room. A large table filled the center with chairs of different sizes, some clearly built for non-human bodies. "You expected alien visitors," said Dr. Lita, noticing this. The human female, Mira, as she'd been introduced, gave a small smile that didn't reach her eyes. "We were explorers. Meeting aliens was part of the mission. Yet you carried enough weapons to destroy fleets," said Security Chief Crawl. The air grew tense. Captain Morgan gestured to the seats. "Let's sit. We have questions. For each other, I think." When they were all seated, the captain leaned forward. "You said you found our recall code with a warning. I want to know who left that warning and when." Dr. Lita answered, "The recording was made by an Admiral James Cooper. It was dated approximately 9,170 years ago, just after your departure from Earth." The humans exchanged glances. "James Cooper was the head of the Earth Space Defense," said Jack slowly. "He gave us our orders personally." "The warning said not to try to destroy your ship," continued Dr. Lita. "It said to call you home instead. Why would he think anyone would want to destroy you?" The human named Ellie spoke up. "What exactly did the warning say?" Dr. Lita recited from memory. "If you detect it, do not try to destroy it. You can't. Send the recall code instead. Call it home." "That's all?" asked Tom. Dr. Lita nodded. There was more in the recording, but much was lost over time. Data corruption is inevitable, even with our best preservation methods. Admiral Tark watched the humans carefully. "Captain, there are marks on your ship's hull. Recent battle damage. What have you been fighting?" For a long moment, Captain Morgan didn't answer. Then he looked at the ceiling. "Adam, show them the encounter from 3 years ago." A hologram appeared above the table. It showed empty space, then a strange darkness moving against the stars. Not a ship, something fluid, like living shadow. The Harbinger fired weapons at atomic beams of energy that would have cut through any normal ship. The darkness absorbed them, then reached out with long tendrils that wrapped around part of the ship. "Freeze image," ordered Jack. The hologram stopped, showing the dark tendrils burning where they touched the Harbinger's hull. "We've been tracking these things for 30 years, said Jack. "We call them void eaters. They consume everything, matter, energy, even light. We've destroyed 17 of them." 17? Dr. Lita's skin turned white with shock. "In 30 years? "They're scouts," said Mira. "Small ones." Admiral Tark felt cold. "Scouts for what?" Jack looked him directly in the eyes. "That's what we've been trying to find out. And now, after seeing your historical records, I think I know why Earth sent us out here with so many weapons." He paused. "They knew something was coming. Something that could end all life. And they built the Harbinger to stop it." In the silence that followed, the ship's AI spoke. "Captain, long-range sensors have detected another signature. Same pattern as the others, but much larger. It's changing course." "Toward what?" asked Jack, standing up. "Toward us," said Adam. "It will arrive in 6 days." The command center of the Harbinger buzzed with activity. Jack stood at the main control panel, watching as Adam projected the path of the approaching Void Eater. "It's 3 times bigger than any we've encountered before," said Mira, studying the readings. "And it's moving faster." Admiral Tark and his team had remained aboard the human ship. Now they gathered around the display, their faces showing different forms of concern. "How do you normally fight these creatures?" asked Tark. Tom answered, "The Harbinger's main cannon can disrupt their energy field. Then we use pulse torpedoes, to break them apart. But this one's too big for our standard approach, Jack added. We need a new strategy. Dr. Lita's skin had turned a deep purple, the color of intense concentration. May I access your records of previous encounters? Perhaps there's a pattern we've missed. Jack nodded. Adam, give Dr. Lita full access to the battle archives. Yes, Captain, the AI responded. As Dr. Lita began her work, Jack turned to Tark. Admiral, your fleet should withdraw to a safe distance. We can't guarantee your ships will survive if this thing gets past us. Tark straightened his back. My orders are to investigate the human vessel and determine if it poses a threat to Council space. I cannot leave. Then you'll die here, said Mira bluntly. The tension in the room grew. Jack was about to respond when Ray spoke up from his communication station. Captain, I've been analyzing the recall signal the Council sent us. There's something embedded in it. A data packet we missed. Show me, Jack ordered. Ray's fingers moved quickly over the controls. A new display appeared, showing lines of code that only Ray and Adam could fully understand. It's old Earth encryption, Ray explained. Military grade, but it's tied to the recall code so Adam could unlock it. He looked up. It's a message, Captain, from Admiral Cooper himself. The room fell silent. Jack felt his heart beat faster. Play it. The main screen flickered, and then the face of an old man appeared. He wore a military uniform with 5 stars on each shoulder. Captain Morgan, if you're seeing this, then the worst has happened, said Admiral Cooper. His voice was raspy with age. Earth is gone or silent, and someone has activated the recall protocol. The Admiral coughed, then continued. By now you know about the Void Eaters. What you don't know is why we sent you to fight them. The truth is larger than I told you. The old man's eyes looked tired but determined. In 2547, our deep space telescopes detected something massive moving between the stars. We called it the Devourer. It consumes planets, strips them of life, and resources, then moves on. These Void Eaters are just its advanced scouts. Jack felt the weight of every word. The Admiral continued. The Harbinger isn't just a ship, Jack, it's humanity's last hope. Your mission isn't just to fight the scouts, it's to find the Devourer and destroy it before it reaches Earth. But if you're seeing this message, we ran out of time. Admiral Cooper leaned closer to the camera. I'm sorry we lied to you. The truth was too heavy to bear at launch. The Harbinger carries weapons we never told you about. Weapons that could destroy worlds. Adam has the codes to unlock them. The old man's face softened. One last thing. In Cryo Chamber 7, there are 10,000 human embryos in stasis. If Earth is truly gone, you 5 are not just warriors. You're the guardians of our species. The Admiral saluted. Good luck, Captain. The stars are in your hands now. The message ended. No one spoke for a long moment. Jack finally broke the silence. Adam, is this true about Cryo Chamber 7? Yes, Captain, replied the AI. The chamber is sealed with Admiral Cooper's personal codes. I can open it on your command. Jack looked at his crew. Their faces showed shock, anger, and determination all at once. We're not just the last humans, Ellie whispered. We're the first. Tom slammed his fist on the console. They lied to us, sent us out here to die fighting something they knew we couldn't beat. No, said Mira, her voice steady. They sent us out here because they believed we could beat it. She looked at Jack. And because they had no other choice. Admiral Tark stepped forward. Captain Morgan, if what your Admiral Cooper said is true, then this threat concerns not just humanity, but all sentient life in the galaxy. Dr. Lita looked up from her work. I've found something in your battle records. The Void Eaters avoid direct contact with certain elements in your ship's hull, particularly a rare metal you call stellarium. It seems to disrupt their energy patterns. Stellarium was a new discovery when we left Earth, said Tom. We only had enough to coat certain sections of the hull. Dr. Lita's skin rippled with excitement. The Council worlds mine a nearly identical element. We call it blue steel. We use it for energy shielding. Jack felt the first spark of hope. How much do you have? Tark answered. Enough to coat a small fleet. Jack turned to the main display. where the approaching Void Eater continued its steady advance. We have 5 days before that thing arrives. If we can get enough of this blue steel, we might be able to modify our weapons. I need to contact the Council, said Tark. They need to know what we're facing. Jack nodded. Ray, help the Admiral send his message. He turned to the others. Tom, work with Dr. Lyda on modifying our weapon systems. Mira, run battle simulations with the new data. Ellie. He paused. Check on Cryochamber 7. Make sure those embryos are still viable. As everyone moved to their tasks, Jack stood alone for a moment. The weight of 10,000 human lives, potential lives, pressed down on him. And beyond that, the weight of all life in the galaxy. The United Galactic Council. Meeting was chaotic. The holographic projections of 17 different species filled the circular chamber, all talking at once. Silence, shouted Elder Vox. The room gradually quieted. Admiral Tark, continue your report. Tark's hologram stood in the center of the chamber. The human ship was sent to fight an entity they call the Devourer, something that consumes entire worlds. The Void Eaters we've detected at the edges of our space are just its scouts. And we're supposed to believe this? Asked Counselor Zim. These humans appear after 10,000 years with tales of world-eating monsters, and we just accept it? I've seen their battle records, said Tark firmly. And in 6 days, we'll all see for ourselves when a Void Eater 3 times larger than any they've faced before arrives at the edge of the Krell system. This caused another wave of anxious chatter. What do the humans propose? Asked Elder Vox when the noise died down. They need blue steel, as much as we can provide, to modify their weapons. They believe it disrupts the Void Eater's energy field. Counselor Zim laughed. So they want our most valuable resource? How convenient. Dr. Lita's hologram appeared beside Tark's. Counselors, I've analyzed their battle data myself. The connection between Stellarium, their version of blue steel, and the Void Eater's weakness is real. Elder Vox looked around the chamber. We must vote. Do we provide the humans with blue steel and join their fight? Or do we withdraw our ships and hope this threat passes us by? The room grew quiet as each counselor considered the choice. Finally, Elder Vox spoke again. Those in favor of alliance with the humans. 1 by 1 lights appeared above the counselors' heads. 12 lights for yes, 5 still dark. The council has spoken, said Elder Vox. We will send all available blue steel to the Harbinger. He looked directly at Tark. And, may the stars protect us if we're wrong. Back on the Harbinger, Jack stood in Cryochamber 7 looking at rows of small frozen containers. Each one held the beginnings of a human life. They're still viable, said Ellie, checking the readings. All 10,000 of them. Perfect genetic diversity for a new human population. Jack touched one of the containers gently. If we survive the next week, Ellie looked at him. We will. We have to. Jack's communicator beeped. Captain, came Ray's voice. The council has agreed. They're sending everything they have. Good, said Jack. Tell Tom to prepare the modification teams. As he turned to leave, Jack took one last look at the frozen embryos, the future of humanity. We'll keep you safe, he promised quietly. Whatever it takes. 3 days passed in a blur of activity. The Harbinger's massive docking bay had become a workshop where humans and aliens worked side by side. Council ships arrived hourly, bringing more blue steel and workers. Tom moved through the chaos like a man possessed, directing teams with quick gestures and simple words. Under his guidance, the Harbinger's weapons were being rebuilt to channel the special properties of blue steel. The torpedoes are ready, he reported to Jack during their hourly meeting. We've coated all 50 with blue steel. The main cannon is still being modified. Jack nodded, his eyes red from lack of sleep. How long? Another day at least. The energy calibration is tricky. We only have 2 days left, Jack reminded him. Tom's face hardened. We'll be ready. Across the room, Mira was training alien gunners on the Harbinger's defense systems. The Council had sent its best fighters to support the human ship. Aim for the center mass, she instructed a group of reptilian soldiers. Don't waste shots on the tendrils. They regrow too fast. Admiral Tark entered the command center, followed by Dr. Lyda. Both looked as tired as the humans. Captain, said Tark, 3 more ships have arrived with blue steel, and the Council has sent their flagship, the Star Defender. Good, said Jack. We'll need every ship we can get. Dr. Lyda stepped forward, her skin a pale yellow in the ship's lights. Captain, I've been studying the data from your previous encounters, combined with our own deep space readings. She placed a data pad on the table. I believe I've found something important. The screen showed a map of the galaxy, with dozens of small red dots marking different locations. These are all the places where Void Eaters have been detected over the past 30 years, she explained. But look at the pattern. Jack studied the map. The red dots formed a rough circle with one section missing. They're surrounding something, he said slowly. Yes, agreed Dr. Lyda. And the circle is getting smaller each year. She tapped the screen, and the circle visibly contracted as the timeline advanced. They're herding whatever's in this region toward a specific location. Jack felt a chill run down his spine. Or they're containing it. Ray's voice came over the ship's comm system. Captain, you need to see this. We're receiving a signal from deep space. It's different. Different how? Asked Jack. It's not a Void Eater. The pattern is structured like a message. Jack exchanged glances with Tark. Put it on the main screen. The large display at the front of the command center lit up with a wave pattern. Unlike the chaotic energy of the Void Eaters, this signal pulsed with regular rhythm. Can you decode it? Jack asked. Ray's fingers danced over his console. Working on it. The pattern is complex, but there's definitely a mathematical sequence. Give me a few minutes. Ellie had joined them from the medical bay. Where is it coming from? Dr. Lyda checked her instruments. From here, she said, pointing to the center of the circle on her map. From inside the containment area. The room fell silent. Only the soft beeping of instruments broke the tension. Got it, said Ray suddenly. It's a message, all right, and... He paused, looking up with wide eyes. It's in English. What? Jack moved to Ray's station. How is that possible? I don't know, but it is. The message repeats every 60 seconds. Ray touched his console. I'll play it. A voice filled the command center, a strange, flat voice that didn't sound quite human. To the vessel designated Harbinger. We have been waiting. The containment is failing. The Devourer grows stronger. We cannot hold it much longer. Help us finish what your creators started. The message repeated once. Then Ray muted it. Who are they? Asked Mira. And how do they know our ship? Jack turned to Adam. Adam, search your databases. Is there any record of other ships sent from Earth? Anything about containment? Searching, Captain, said the AI. After a moment, it continued. I have found a sealed file in my core memory. It was programmed to unlock only if we received a specific signal pattern. And this is that pattern? Asked Jack. Yes, Captain. Open the file. The main screen changed to show an older woman in a lab coat. Her gray hair was pulled back in a tight bun. Captain Morgan, I am Dr. Elizabeth Chen, Chief Scientist of the Harbinger Project. If you're seeing this, then you've encountered the Guardians. Jack leaned forward. Guardians. The recording continued. Before humans, before even the council races, there was a civilization we've only been able to call the Ancients. They discovered the Devourer first over 1 million years ago. They couldn't destroy it, but they managed to contain it using technology beyond our understanding. Dr. Chen's face grew grim. The containment has been failing for centuries. The Ancients are nearly extinct, but those who remain have been maintaining the containment field. They reached out to Earth 50 years before your launch. They needed a weapon that could destroy the Devourer once and for all. That's why we built the Harbinger, whispered Jack. The Harbinger carries a weapon unlike anything Earth has built before, said Dr. Chen. We call it the Nova Core. It's powerful enough to collapse a star. The Ancients helped us design it. but they cannot use it themselves. Their containment field prevents any high-energy weapon from functioning inside it. She leaned closer to the camera. Captain, your true mission is to rendezvous with the Ancients, breach the containment field at a specific point, and deploy the Nova Core at the heart of the Devourer. The Void Eaters will try to stop you. They are not just scouts. They are antibodies, created by the Devourer to protect itself. The message ended, leaving everyone in stunned silence. Jack turned to Adam. Is this Nova Core on board? Yes, Captain. It is housed in a sealed chamber beneath the main drive section. I have full schematics and deployment protocols. Admiral Tark had been listening with growing concern. Captain, are you saying you have a weapon that can collapse a star? Apparently, said Jack. And we're supposed to use it on this Devourer. Such a weapon. Tark paused. The Council would never have approved its existence. That's probably why Earth didn't tell anyone, said Mira. They knew what was at stake. Dr. Lyda had been studying her instruments. The incoming Void Eater will reach us in 48 hours. If we wait for it to arrive, we'll be stuck in a defensive battle. Jack looked at the map with its circle of red dots. We need to change strategies. Instead of waiting for it to come to us, we go to the source. He pointed to the center of the circle. We take the fight to the Devourer. That's insane, said Tom. We're not ready. The weapons modifications aren't complete. Then we work faster, said Jack. The Ancients have been holding this thing for 1,000,000 years. They're asking for our help. We can't let them down. Ellie stepped forward. What about the embryos? If we take the Harbinger into the heart of the Devourer, we risk everything. Jack thought for a moment. We'll transfer them to one of the Council ships, along with volunteers who can care for them if we don't return. Admiral Tark straightened. I will inform the Council of our change in plans. They won't like it, but they'll understand the necessity. As the others moved to prepare, Jack stood looking at the map. The red dots seemed to pulse with menace. Adam, he said quietly, show me the Nova Core. A new image appeared on his personal screen, a device smaller than he expected, a sphere of gleaming metal with strange patterns covering its surface. Is it really powerful enough to destroy the Devourer? According to its specifications, Captain, it generates an energy wave equivalent to a supernova, but contained in a directional field. Nothing known could survive it. Jack stared at the image. And what about us? Could we survive deploying it? Adam was silent for a moment. The deployment protocols include an escape plan, Captain. However, the probability of successful escape is calculated at less than 20%. Jack nodded slowly. That's better odds than I expected. He closed the image. Prepare the Nova Core for deployment, Adam. We launch in 12 hours. Yes, Captain, said the AI. As Jack walked toward the docking bay to help with preparations, he couldn't help but think about the 10,000 frozen embryos, the future of humanity, and the billions of alien lives depending on their success. One way or another, the 10,000-year mission of the Harbinger was about to reach its end. The Harbinger moved through space like a dark arrow, its massive engines pushing it faster than any ship in the Council fleet. Behind it came 7 alien vessels, their hulls gleaming with fresh blue steel armor. On the bridge, Jack stood watching the stars blur past. In 12 hours, they would reach the edge of what Dr. Lita had named the containment zone, the place where the Ancients had held the Devourer for 1,000,000 years. Captain, said Ray from his station, we're receiving another message from inside the zone. Same source as before. Put it through, ordered Jack. The strange flat voice filled the bridge again. Harbinger, the containment field is weakening. We are opening a passage at these coordinates. You will have one chance to enter. The Devourer knows you are coming. It has sent all remaining Void Eaters to intercept you. Ray looked up. They've sent coordinates and timing information. How many Void Eaters are we talking about? Asked Mira, who stood checking weapon readouts. Sensors detect 17 separate energy signatures moving toward our position, replied Adam. All match Void Eater patterns. The largest is twice the size of any previously encountered. Jack turned to Admiral Tark, who had chosen to remain aboard the Harbinger. Is your fleet ready? The blue-skinned alien nodded. As ready as we can. B. My captains understand the plan. The plan was simple but dangerous. The Council ships would engage the Void Eaters while the Harbinger, with its human crew and the Nova Corps, would break through to the containment field. If all went well, they would meet the Ancients, deploy the weapon, and escape before detonation. If all went well. Captain, said Ellie, entering the bridge, the embryo transfer is complete. The Council medical ship has all 10,000 containers safely aboard. And the volunteers? Asked Jack. 20 Council scientists have stayed with them. They're the best in their fields. Jack nodded. The future of humanity was as secure as they could make it. Tom's voice came over the comm. Engine room to bridge. The Nova Corps is mounted on the deployment platform. Final checks complete. Good work, said Jack. Get back up here. I want all of you on the bridge for this. As his crew gathered around him, Jack felt a strange sense of peace. 10,000 years ago, Earth had sent them on this mission, knowing they might never return. Now, at the edge of the unknown, they were about to complete that mission. I've never been one for speeches, Jack said, looking at his 4 companions, the last 4 humans besides himself. But I want you to know it's been an honor serving with you. Save the goodbye speech, Captain, said Mira with a small smile. We're not dead yet. And we don't plan to be, added Tom. Ray nodded. 20% chance of survival means 1 in 5 makes it. There are 5 of us, so statistically, that's not how probability works, said Ellie with a laugh. Jack smiled. After 30 years in space, or 10,000 depending on how you counted, these people were more than his crew. They were his family. Incoming Void Eaters, announced Adam. 17 minutes to contact. Jack straightened. Battle stations. All Council ships moved to defensive formation. Prepare to engage. The bridge hummed with activity as everyone moved to their positions. Jack took the captain's chair, feeling the weight of command settle on his shoulders once more. Time to finish what Earth started, he said quietly. The battle erupted in flashes of brilliant energy. The Void Eaters came like a wave of darkness, tendrils reaching for the ships. But this time, the Council fleet was ready. Blue steel armor deflected the deadly touch of the Void Eaters. Modified weapons tore through their shadowy forms. For the first time, the creatures seemed to hesitate, as if sensing something had changed. The Harbinger plowed forward, its main cannon firing continuously. Void Eaters scattered before it, but the largest one moved to block its path. It knows, said Jack, watching the creature's movements. It knows what we're carrying. All weapons on the big one, ordered Mira. Full power. The Harbinger shuddered, as it unleashed everything it had. The giant Void Eater writhed as blue-tinged energy tore through it, but it didn't break apart like the smaller ones. We can't destroy it in time, reported Mira. We need another approach. Admiral Tark stepped forward. Captain, let my ships handle this one. Continue to the coordinates. Jack hesitated, then nodded. All power to engines. We're breaking through. The Council ships converged on the giant Void Eater, firing in coordinated patterns. The creature's attention split, giving the Harbinger its opening. Now! Shouted Jack. The massive human ship surged forward, slipping past the Void Eater's weakened defenses. Behind them, the battle continued, but ahead lay the edge of the containment zone, a shimmering barrier barely visible against the stars. Approaching coordinates, reported Ray. The passage should open in 30 seconds. Slow to half speed, ordered Jack. Be ready for anything. As they watched, a section of the barrier seemed to thin, creating a tunnel of clear space. That's our door, said Jack. Take us in, nice and easy. The Harbinger moved forward, entering the tunnel. For a moment, the ship shuddered as energy played across its hull. Containment field is scanning us, said Adam, matching patterns from ancient Earth transmissions. Then they were through, and the tunnel closed behind them. Inside the containment zone, Space looked different. The stars were dimmer and strange patterns of light moved through the darkness. Ahead, a small planetoid hung in space, its surface covered with structures that gleamed like crystal. "We're being hailed," said Ray. "Same source as before." "On screen," ordered Jack. The image that appeared wasn't what any of them expected. The being looked almost human, but not quite. Taller, thinner, with eyes that were too large and skin that seemed to glow from within. "Harbinger," said the being, its mouth moving in perfect sync with the words. "I am Keeper, last of the Guardian caste. We have waited long for your arrival." Jack stepped forward. "We received your message. We're here to help finish what our ancestors started." The being nodded. "The Devourer grows restless. It senses your weapon. We must act quickly." "Where is it?" asked Jack. "This Devourer?" Keeper's large eyes blinked slowly. "Below. Always below." The image changed to show what looked like a massive ocean, but instead of water, it was darkness that moved with purpose. "The Devourer came to our world 1,000,000 years ago," explained Keeper. "We contained it but could not destroy it. It consumes energy, matter, even time itself. The more it consumes, the more it wants." "And now the containment is failing," said Jack. "Yes, we are too few now. The field requires life energy to maintain." Jack felt a chill. Life energy? The essence that powers all living things. We have given ours, generation after generation. Now only I remain. Jack exchanged glances with his crew. No wonder the ancients couldn't use the Nova Core themselves. They had sacrificed everything just to keep the Devourer contained. "We need to get the Nova Core to the heart of this thing," said Jack. "Can you guide us?" "I can," said Keeper. "But you must understand, once the core is deployed, nothing within the containment field will survive, including your ship." "We understand the risks," said Jack. "We're prepared." Keeper's glowing face showed what might have been sadness. "Then, we shall proceed. Bring your ship to the surface. I will meet you there." As the transmission ended, Jack turned to his crew. "Last chance to change your minds. I can send the ship in on automatic. You can take the escape pods back to the fleet." "Not a chance," said Mira immediately. "We started this together," said Tom. "We'll finish it together." Ellie nodded. 10,000 years is a good run for humanity. Let's make it count. "What they said," added Ray with a small smile. Jack felt pride swell in his chest. "Adam, take us in. Let's introduce this Devourer to humanity's last gift to the universe." The Harbinger descended toward the crystalline structures on the planetoid's surface. As they approached, they could see that many of the structures were damaged or dark. Only a few still glowed with inner light. Near the largest structure, a SOIS landing area cleared of debris awaited them. The Harbinger settled gently onto the ancient world. "Atmosphere is breathable," reported Ellie, checking the sensors. "Gravity slightly less than Earth normal." "Prepare the Nova Core for transport," ordered Jack. "And let's go meet the last of the ancients." As the 5 humans stepped onto the surface of the planetoid, they knew they were making history, even if no one would ever record it. Here at the edge of everything, humanity would make its final stand. And in a medical bay on a council ship far away, 10,000 human embryos waited to begin again, humanity's true legacy to the stars.